All right, guys, welcome in. It's Tuesday morning. It's Total Bases. I'm here with Tokyo Brandon, and this is your go-to show for free Major League Baseball picks on WagerTalk TV. We're a two-man show today. Our third chair, Brian Leonard, is heading to Cincinnati. He's probably already in Cincinnati or in Ohio. He'll be at the Brewers-Reds game tonight. So, Tokyo Brandon, hope you had a nice weekend. And how's it going? And did you win yesterday? Because I won in KBO. I did not win in Major League Baseball. Actually, I'm glad we didn't do a show yesterday because I think every one of my opinions would have been wrong. So hope you ended up doing better than me in MLB.
I am on the second best run of my entire capping career. I'm 19-2 right now. And it's just going incredibly well. I don't know why, because my April was horrible. My May was basically treading water, and now June is just a firecracker. I mean, 19-2 since the start of June. So yeah, it was good.
The fact how you've gotten 21 plays out in the first 2 days of June is incredible stuff to me. But I will say this, I hope it keeps going. I actually went back and looked. June was my best month in MLB the last 2 years by a large margin. So I don't know why. Maybe it's because we've got like 2 full months of a sample at this point. I'm not going to ask any questions. I hope it keeps going. I did get my MLB unit that I lost last night back in the KBO, though. Cody Ponce and Hanwha was like as easy of a pick in KBO all season. So
did you have him? I had him.
I did. Yes. I figured
me
you
too.
did.
Me too. What was it? 10
I figured
nothing?
you'd be on that.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, and it's like Ponce was minus 130, should have been like well over minus $2. All right, we've let people file in.
And the thing is,
go ahead.
Let me add something to that. If you look at Ponce's record, my God, he hasn't given up an earned run in like 5 starts or something. It's just incredible what he's doing. I've never seen anyone, even Kim Kwang-hyun, like 2 or 3 years ago when he was dominating, he wasn't even that good back then. So unbelievable.
Yeah, and since we focus on MLB on this show, this is a very long-term, I guess, piece to just put in your notebook. Cody Ponce will be back in MLB next year. And he very much looks like Eric Fetty looked when he was just tearing through the league with the NC Dinos. Yeah. That's what he reminds me of. He's 100% back in MLB next year. And I don't know. You said you got to see him in Japan and whatnot. He looks like someone that could be effective in Major League Baseball right now, the way he's throwing the ball.
He played for Darvish's and Otani's team, the Nippon Ham Fighters. Wasn't impressive, actually. So I was kind of surprised to see how well he's doing in KBO. Yes, he will be back. He'll be a Fetty type innings eater, not shiny, but just gets the job done kind of guy, probably. He's probably developing pitches in the KBO like Fetty did. So yeah, he'll be a non-flashy, reliable guy, perhaps. How I see him. Yeah.
So if you guys are wondering where Brian is, I think I've already said it. He's out for the week. He's on vacation. So hope he's having a good time. TB and I are here to hold it down the rest of the week. We may bring a guest on later in the week. He is. And that's the one we're going to kick off the show. Fixer in the chat says, I hope you three. Well, it's just the two of us today. But Brian will be at this game. So we've got to open the show with Brewers Reds. See if we can figure out a winner for Brian Leonard since he's boots on the ground tonight. Great American Ballpark. So looks like we've got Freddie Peralta, Hunter Green. This was one of the series that did kick off yesterday. And I believe this was a 3-2. Yes, 3-2 Brewers win. My first sort of at a first glance was, okay, very even matchup here, but the Brewers did use some bullpen. I think that's probably the only sort of edge I see in this game between these two teams. So where are you at, Brewers Reds? Let's find a winner for Brian Leonard.
Yeah, the Brewers are crushing right now. They're really hitting well. We thought Yelich might miss some time, but he was back yesterday. I think he had a home run yesterday. If not, he had several RBIs. I forgot. But and the Brewers bullpen just far superior to Cincinnati's, at least in current form. I got the Brewers ranked 10, while I got Cincinnati ranked 23 in bullpen. But I put a lot of focus on current form, whereas you're more of a talent analytics guy. You analyze the talent, and but I get swayed a lot by current form because these guys are just so streaky. So I like to use current form in my capping. The problem is Hunter Green is a little bit better pitcher than Peralta is. So this is a little bit dicey. If you look at Hunter Green's stats against these batters, not as good as Peralta against the Reds, but yeah, this is one of those kind of gridlock kind of games. I think Hunter Green's a better pitcher than Freddie Peralta, but the Brewers dominate everything else. I think the discrepancy in the bullpen would be enough to make a play on the Brewers if the price is less than 130, maybe. But I doubt I'm going to actually make a play on it. But if I were to, I would go that way, or the Brewers team total over. But that's kind of dicey because Hunter Green is a good pitcher. I think he's been out for a while. This is his first start in a while, right?
I thought he pitched the other day. I don't think it's his
did
first
he? Okay,
one
I
off
could
the
be wrong.
IL, but he did miss some time. I'll confirm that here. I believe.
Sure. Okay.
I thought he was
over
back
on this one. Yeah.
So his most recent outing was he's actually now made 2 starts.
Oh, okay.
He missed about 2 weeks. He made a start on May 7th, didn't pitch again until the 23rd. Didn't pitch particularly. He kind of like was okay in his first start back. Only made it 4 innings. Didn't get blown up or anything, but wasn't anything special. Last time out, 5 innings against Kansas City, still gave up 7 hits. The strikeout numbers for him, I guess the most glaring thing with Green, the 2 starts since he came back from the injury, 2 strikeouts, 3 strikeouts. Whereas prior to the injury, or prior to him missing time, he had a 12 strikeout game against the Nationals, 8 the game before that against the Rockies. So the swing and miss stuff, I mean, it's a very small sample. Hasn't been getting as much swing and miss in the last 2 starts. Yeah, this one is as coin flip to me as it gets. I noted in the open, Brewers bullpen usage is something that I suppose would concern me a little bit here, because I think that maybe is where they might have had an edge. I think you alluded to that. Fully healthy bullpens, you probably give Brewers a slight edge there. Some of those guys were used last night. Man, I think if you absolutely pinned me down for a pick in this game, I would roll with the Reds, maybe bouncing back from the 3-2 loss last night, but not something I have a huge opinion on there. I mean, all right, let's hit the chat. Go ahead.
The Reds are hitting well right now. They're not dead bats right now. They're hitting well, and they got the better starter. So I mean, they obviously could. The bullpen is the only issue I think that would worry me there. But yeah, they're hitting the ball quite well right now. So I wouldn't argue with that.
All right, we have got to move on. Shout out Sean, G Hurt, my guy Christian, who I was DMing with yesterday. You guys are all 100% right on the Tigers. Thankfully, I did not actually bet that game yesterday. I'm glad I didn't. Everyone thinks I'm a Tigers hate. I'm not a Tigers hater, Tokyo Brandon. I'm not. Like I actually had I had a 20-minute conversation with a viewer yesterday on how much I like this team. The hard part for me, and we'll get into it as we talk about this game, and I think it's going to be Gibson Long for the Tigers, but I'm going to try to confirm that while we're opening this one up here. I'm just thinking like the value on the Tigers is gone. It's going to be very difficult to find spots to bet the Tigers when they're like perceived as the big favorite. Now, down the road, let's say like we get to September, October, let's say we get to the playoffs and the Tigers are now like an underdog to the Yankees, but they're still like playing ball like the way they are right now. That's kind of the role. Like that's where I want the Tigers. That's the spot I want the Tigers in. Where I don't want them, and I think I think there's some validity to what I'm saying here, even though they keep winning games. Where I don't want the Tigers is this big favorite where you have to ask them to win by more than 2 runs, because even on this win streak, what I think they've won 7 of their last 8. Most of them are like by 1 or 2 runs. Yes, they had the outburst last night, but this team is built on pitching and defense and they're going to play a lot of close games. They've proven they're going to win a lot of these close games. AJ Hinch is one, I would say, pound for pound, best manager in baseball. He's at least
Probably
one of
manager of
the
the
top.
year.
All right, yeah. So Tigers, White Sox, better pitching matchup today though for the White Sox. Do you think that the Sox have a chance, or is it just going to be more Tigers today?
Well, Hinch is probably going to get manager of the year. The Tigers are the first team to get 40 wins, and nobody expected that with this roster. Flaherty's recovered from his poor start, looked amazing yesterday, and this team seems unstoppable. The funny thing is, like, my numbers hate them. So this is the problem. I'm in a pickle here because, like, I got we don't know who's pitching for them, first of all. And second of all, Shane Smith, I have him ranked 12 on a curve of 30 of all starting pitchers. So Shane Smith is not a bad guy, but then you go look at his starts. He's given up 3 runs in each of his last 2 starts, which is not very good. I have the White Sox bullpen ranked higher than the Tigers, and I have both of these teams ranked like 26, 25 in hitting. So neither one is like striking the fear of God in anyone with their bats. But man, like you said, the Tigers are just eking out wins and just playing really good baseball. Even though they're not flashy, they're not putting up 10 spots on people, but they're winning every game. So it must be either an intangible manager. I've never been one to place a lot of weight on manager, but this team, I think you have to, because they're winning games somehow, and it's not smoke and mirrors, but somehow they're winning, and it's not flashy. So I don't know which way to go on this one. I'm not going to bet this game.
Yeah, TB, it kind of goes back to the question I posed last week. When you're dealing with, I said the Tigers and the Rays are 2 teams I'm having a really tough time like quantifying, but even more so the Tigers, because I need a way in my numbers, and I don't even know if there's a way because some of this does not show up on paper. So this is where, like, watching games and just like seeing what's going on, you can't really just get from the numbers. It's the Tigers are doing all these little things that don't show up in the box score better than everyone else. Good one I saw the other day. They go first to third better than any team in the league. That's a statistic that's tracked, and they get from first to third on a base hit more than any other team in the league. They have an elite bullpen, but also their bullpen, it's not even that their bullpen is elite, it's that their roster of pitching is elite, meaning, like, go down to Toledo. There's 3 or 4 guys that can help the big league club. And then AJ Hinch, as you're saying, he should win manager of the year if he keeps this up. He just knows how to sort of mix and match his pitchers. So when I look at this game, I think it's going to be Sawyer Gipson Long in the bulk role today. And he's probably a Tigers pitcher that I'm more excited about than any. He's up there in the list of Tigers pitchers on that roster. He's just been coming back from injury. He's been down at AAA. So I don't know that I really want to bet against him, but I really like Shane Smith. Shane Smith's the best pitcher on this White Sox roster. I think he's undervalued a little bit being on a bad team. So I have a pretty strong lean to the under here. I have to pull up. What is the total in this game, TB? Do you have it on screen?
I believe it was 7.5, but I need to confirm that. Let me pull it up real quick. I should have done that before the show started, but
I know I'm used to Brian Leonard having the odds screen up, and he's not here today.
Exactly. We rely on him for that, me for the timestamps, and you for the hosting. So is this a late game? No, this is not even posted on Pinnacle because the starter's not decided.
DraftKings. So this is a good point. This game is not going to be up at a lot of books. Right now, DraftKings has an 8.5 minus 105 for the total. And they're just like, some of these legals will get games up before the pitching has been announced. That is a very good under bet, in my opinion, because you're going to get Sawyer Gipson Long for bulk here, even if he's not the starter. So remember, he may not be the starter because Hinch might put an opener in front of him, but Gipson Long's probably going to be the bulk guy. he's pretty nasty. And Smith can hold down a lineup like the Tigers. So that I think under is a great, if you can get under 8.5, that is a great bet. Great bet, in my opinion.
Good advice, guys. Maybe make a little play on that.
I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna put it in the parlay because I don't know that a lot of people have it up yet. But if you do have it up, it's a really good bet. And to go back to Sean's point here in the chat, like Jonathan Cannon and Shane Smith, way far apart in my opinion. Like where Smith is right now, because obviously they're two of the White Sox younger starting pitchers. Where Smith is right now and compared to where Cannon is like night and day. So I do think the Tigers here are going to be facing a far tougher task trying to put runs up off Smith than they were yesterday against Cannon. All right. Let's see. So TB, how does this sound? We're still going to do the parlay today. We need to hit one. We'll both get a leg and then we'll throw in a leg that we both agree on. So if we have like a consensus leg where we're both like, yeah, that's a play, we'll throw a joint play in and we'll get to our 3-teamer. I think that's,
we can't do a 2-leg.
We could do a 2-leg, but if we agree on something, we can make it a 3-leg. Hey, we don't always agree. So we might
a 2-leg though, we have to cash at a higher rate. So
yes, we do. Yep,
because it'll only be like plus 300 if it's a 2-leg. So
Jack Falk in the chat.
Cash one every 3 days.
Good morning to you as well, and appreciate you guys tuning in. TB and I are going to be with you all week trying to give out winners. We're holding down the fort. Brian Leonard will be back with us on Monday. Hopefully he's enjoying his vacation. And he did tell us to say, if you are at Great American Ballpark tonight, for any reason, if you're also going to Brewers Reds, come find him. He'll buy you a beer. We'll make it happen. Let us know if you're going to be at that game tonight. DM me or something. We'll put you in touch. And he did say that. So hope he has a great time at the game tonight. I'm actually going to a game tonight too, TB. I'm going to go see the Syracuse Mets play a AAA game tonight because it's 80 degrees. We finally are getting some nice weather. G Hurt, our guy G Hurt here says, how are we not smashing Pirates versus 5? My quick answer to that question is, well, there's almost no good scenario to ever just blindly smash the Pirates. They're a bad baseball team. However, you have a generational talent on the mound here, TV. So what do you think here? Are you smashing Pirates first 5?
So like I said, I do my ratings. A lot of it is based on current form, and the Pirates bullpen is actually playing pretty well right now. Compared to the Astros. I got the Astros ranked pretty low in current form, and McCullers, I don't know what to expect from him, to be honest. He's only got a couple starts under his belt. Don't know really what to expect. My numbers don't like what they've seen so far from him, but he is a veteran. He's been around a while, and if anyone can bounce back, it's a veteran type pitcher. And usually it takes him 2 or so starts to get back in the groove. And so this could be the game where he starts to shine here. But there's no guarantee on that. And we're predicting the future here. So we want guarantees. Well, nothing's guaranteed in sports betting, but we want to base our predictions on things that are high probability. And him having a poor game is not a high probability, and him having a great game is not a high probability. So kind of stuck on this one. Skeens obviously is a monster. If you look at his starts, I mean, he's barely giving up runs. I think he's got like 4 games where he hasn't given up a run, or one or less. He hasn't given up a run in his last 2 starts, and I think he's only given up 1 or less in 6 starts or something. It's something pretty amazing. The problem is the Astros are hitting kind of well right now. I have both, everyone jabs the Pirates for not being able to put runs on the board or being poor hitters. But actually, I got the Pirates lineup ranked 9 right now in MLB. They're actually producing, and their bullpen is playing well. So I think the Pirates is the only way you can go today. My only reservation is I don't know what to expect from McCullers. So yeah, it's a tough one. Maybe Astros team total under would be a way I would love to go, but the Astros are hitting well too. So kind of stuck in this one.
Yeah, so I mean, McCullers has been kind of awesome last few times out. Like he had that one start where he couldn't make it out of the first inning,
Right.
and that was like the whole like getting death threats and stupid stuff like that. And
Yep.
since then, I mean, the last time out. Now, granted, it's against the A's who are in a whole world of nonsense right now. I mean, that team is just. I think you got to take that with a grain of salt because it's a bunch of young kids that are just getting exposed at the big league level. He still had 12 strikeouts. Start before that, 8 strikeouts against Seattle. That being said, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I'm a full-on believer that he's just going to continue to deal at the big league level. So I think I would have to lean with G Hurt here, but I don't know if I certainly lean. My numbers do like the Pirates in this game, but I'm not in love with them at the price they're at. So I can't really talk. I did think the Pirates played well this weekend. I feel like they played good ball against San Diego. I think they ended up stealing one game in that series, but really could have won any of them. I thought they were in the game in that whole series. My gut says Pirates win here.
Yeah.
Skeens is a huge edge at starting pitcher. And as you pointed out, their bullpen's been better. So lean toward the Pirates, but I don't think I can do anything with that personally.
Let me throw out something for just information purposes for the people out there. I do numbers for props, for K props, outs props, and I also check bases on balls props. Paul Skeens, I have him projected for 6.06 strikeouts, and the book has it at 6.5. So I'm not taking an over in that. If anything, I go under, but my number's too close to the book, so I'm not going to do that. And then his outs prop, I project him at 19 outs, and the book has it 18.5. But 18.5 is always a sketchy proposition because betting someone to guarantee getting an out in the 7th inning is always a risk. Even Skeens could start walking people and get pulled in the 6th inning. So it's really risky.
It's an interesting point. I think I'd probably lean toward under on the strikeouts too, TB, just because like the Astros, they are having good at bats. I don't think this is a start where Skeens is guaranteed to just wipe them out 9-10 strikeouts. Like,
right,
they can put together good at bats, and yeah, I think the market's always going to inflate Paul Skeens pretty much no matter what. That's why you're getting such an inflated money line on the Pirates, and why it's tough to bet them when he's on the mound because the team outside of him is awful. Andrew McKinnis in the chat. I want to go. We're not going to go back to this game, but I want to bring up a point. So shout out McKinnis. Appreciate you jumping in the chat. And he makes a great point here that I think is worth addressing on the show. He says, a few years ago in hockey, the Bruins broke the record for most wins in a year, and I barely bet them due to what I thought were bad prices. Tigers are still making people money. Yeah, I am guilty of this. Hand up. I am guilty of this. And this is where Tokyo Brandon's style is a little bit more forgiving in this regard. I come into a season and I've got power ratings. And for the first couple months, I'm inclined to trust what my ratings were on certain teams. And I think I maybe take that too far into the season where it's June 3rd. And maybe now I have to make some bigger adjustments and be like, no, like the Tigers they are this good. I'm watching them on a daily basis. They do everything right. They're finding ways to win. Why do I keep wanting to bet against a team like this? That's the point McKinnis is making. And do you think that that's why you're a little bit more recency in your handicapping, stuff like that over the years?
Yes. Yes, because the way you beat the book is betting something unexpected. I mean, you've been successful taking underdogs plus 1.5 when you feel like the book has got the wrong price on them. But the book also will overinflate teams, and it'll overinflate pitchers. Like even now, Justin Verlander gets it's a ridiculous number, and he's not what he used to be. Guys like Nola pitching like crap and still get really good numbers from the book. So you can take advantage of some of those if you know the trends that the book is not catching on to, kind of. But the thing about the Tigers, for me, not going to dwell on it too long. We'll get to another game, but they're hard to bet because they play like a Japanese baseball team. They play really good fundamental baseball. They play advance to runners, get the runs. They don't knock the crap out of the ball, which is the reason why it's hard to bet against them in Major League, because Major League has so many power hitters. So yeah, if you haven't been betting the Tigers, you've lost money or you've missed your opportunity, because they're going to be priced high now.
All right, Shawn Michaels' head is going to explode here, because I'm going to give you a pro Tigers bet right now. Now, I don't know. I'm sure some book has this. I can just about guarantee this is offered somewhere. I know like a DraftKings or a FanDuel or the Legals will have something like this. I have no idea what the price is, but I'm sure this is offered somewhere in some capacity, and I think this is a great bet. And I think this is probably playable right now because of some of the other teams, like the way they're going to get priced. So I'm looking at the standings. I'm looking at the standings in Major League Baseball. Right now, the Tigers have the best record, I think by like a game or two. But there's other teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Cubs, teams that get more respect than the Tigers that are all within a game or two. I'm curious as to what the price is on this. I would 1,000% bet the Tigers to have the best record at the All-Star break. I know there's a site out there that's going to offer this. And I know that the Tigers are going to be watered down a little bit in the odds from where they should be because of the bias toward teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Cubs. They're all going to be priced similar because they're all within a game or two of each other right now. The Tigers' schedule this month is so insanely favorable to them that they might be in the clubhouse with this by the end of June. TB, I want to read off the Tiger schedule to you this month.
Mm-hmm.
White Sox to finish this series. They're then at home against the Cubs. That's probably their toughest series. Orioles at home against Cincinnati. Then they play the Pirates, the Rays, the A's, and then they're at home against the Twins. And that is literally going to take you to July 1st. That is very, very manageable schedule. And that prop, which I know exists because I've seen it in years past, it's essentially who is going to have the best record in Major League Baseball at the All-Star break is the prop. They're going to be priced the same as teams like Chicago, the Yankees, the Dodgers. They're already getting a couple games head start, and that's their June schedule. That should be free.
The Twins is their hardest series out of all those that you just read off.
Right.
The Twins are a good team.
TV, the hardest series of the ones I read off, the Twins and the Cubs, all of those games are in Detroit. So they're all home games. So,
wow.
Yeah. So that's like someone let me know if any of your books have that prop in some capacity. I know it exists. I just don't know if it's up right now. I know that exists because that is such a Steve Duke in the chat goes, that is a really long explanation on a Tigers future bet. Yeah. And okay. I lost Sean's comment, but he likes the under on those skiing strikeouts as well. And I think
it's minus
151.
It's a bit pricey, but yeah, it's a good bet.
I think it's a really good bet. I think the Astros are going to have good at bats there. And I do like that. I'm not a prop guy. This is probably like the one day I'll come in, give out a prop, lean, and Skeens will have 15Ks because that's just how
someone thinks I should run for president against Trump. We'll see. I look like Ted Nugent today. He's a big Trump supporter, so
you definitely turned some heads with those outfits, though, for sure. That hat is fire, TB. That is a sick hat, I gotta say.
This is my Arizona roots coming out today.
All right, let's get
people actually
back to
dress like this in Arizona, by the way.
Arizona's great. I've been to Arizona 3-4 times. It's a great state. But again,
I love it. It's my home.
We digress. Back to the baseball. Craig in the chat says Washington looks like good value today. It's Washington at home. Nats are back at home. They had a really good road trip. They looked awesome on that road trip, pounding the ball against the Mariners. They blew up the Diamondbacks a couple of times. Now they're back home to face the Cubs. I got an opinion here, but I'll start with you. Do you agree with Craig? Does the Nats look like value at home today against the Cubs?
Let's see. Horton against Williams, huh? Let's see. I got Washington's crushing the ball right now, so that's
Yes, they
undeniable.
are.
The problem is their bullpen, but they're known for having a poor bullpen, but right now they're only like slightly below average. The Cubs bullpen is lights out right now, and I think the Cubs have the better pitcher today. So, yeah, a lot of games today when I match them up with my numbers, it's a lot of gridlock. And anytime I see like a yin yang kind of thing, this team's here, good at this, bad at this, and it's a back and forth, like a taffy pull. I'm just like, I don't know which way to go, to be honest. If anything, I would take the lineup that's crushing it with their team total. Actually, I've been winning a lot of Washington team totals this year. Because the book, this is like we were talking before about undervalued, overvalued, and streaks. The book consistently undervalues Washington's bats, and Washington is producing. They got Abrams out there stealing bases, and Wood. He's just probably the best hitter right now besides Raleigh. But man, did you know Raleigh is the home run leader in MLB right now?
Yes, yeah.
He's got more
After
home
this
runs.
week, he is.
Actually, Otani tied him at night. Otani hit one and tied him with. They're tied at 23, but amazing. But Washington's bats are a team that I do like to bet the team total over. But today, I don't think I will because the Cubs bullpen is lights out right now, and Horton pitching very good on a small sample size. So I don't really know what to expect from him. Is he going to crumble? Is he going to keep being good? I really don't know. But if Washington's going to win a game against the Cubs, it would be today, I think.
I got you here, Craig. I really like the Nationals. This is on the short list for me for client, like an actual play today. I just haven't locked anything in yet, but this is one of the few that's on my list that I think I could get to the window with. We're going to make this the first leg of the parlay. I really like Nationals plus 1.5. Right now it's minus 125. Tokyo Brandon kind of led in to the handicap here. Yeah, the Nats are crushing the ball, but specifically this lineup now, since they called up Robert Hassel and Dalen Lyle, is built to just demolish right-handed pitching. Where the Nats are going to have trouble is against lefties. Against right-handed pitching, they are now 1 through 9, Tokyo Brandon. They are 1 through 9 able to put lefties in the lineup. So when they face a right-handed pitching, because they have a couple switch hitters, so when they face right-handed pitching, 1 through 9, it's left-handed bats. Every single guy bats from the left side. They have been destroying right-handed pitching for the most part, and that's what they're going to get here is a right-handed pitcher in Cade Horton that, remember, he's only got a small sample size here, but he has a pretty big sample at AAA. Almost all of these guys on the Nationals were at AAA either this year or last year. So I don't know offhand if they've seen him, but certainly, like, they've all kind of came up at the same time. So I do think that's like that there's probably more of a book on him for these guys than you would think. The other thing is, you talked about the Nationals bullpen. I agree with you. That's their weakness, right? That is the area that they struggle, in my opinion, the most. They just don't have bullpen depth. However, they had the off day yesterday, so that was huge, right? Not having to play yesterday helps out with bullpen depth. And getting Mike Soroka back has allowed them to push Brad Lord to the bullpen, which has been invaluable for them because he's really like the one guy in that bullpen that's super reliable and that can come in and give you 2-3 innings. So, if their starter doesn't go super deep, like Trevor Williams is okay. I mean, the Cubs could light him up. The Cubs could absolutely torch a guy like Trevor Williams, but he also is good enough to get through the lineup once or, maybe one time through. You get 4 innings out of Williams here. That's what Lord in the bullpen gives you the ability to do. You can go to him and ask him to pitch the 5th through the 7th, whereas when he was a starter, they didn't have that luxury, right? Like they had to use him as a starter. And then suddenly the middle innings were not guys you really want out in a close game. So that I think the Nats have some bullpen value because of that, a little bit more depth now. And they have just been destroying right-handed pitching. So I like I think there's a lot of value, Craig, a lot of value on the Nats today to win. I'm going to take plus 1.5, and that will be the first leg of the parlay. All right. Titan CT, that's our guy. He rides for us. He's always in the chat on our shows. Appreciate you, Titan CT. Appreciate all of you guys. Give us those likes and subscribes. We want to run this show up, and we want to show Brian Leonard what he's missing being on vacation this week, leaving us to do a 2-man show. That's right. So this is such a long grind, 365 days a year. You got to get out and touch grass, as they say, TB, every once in a while.
I'll be missing a few shows perhaps down the line. Yeah.
For sure.
But
so
for now we're here.
We're trying to find winners. We've got the first leg of the parlay locked in, and we are going to move on. And we're going to talk some Braves for Titan CT in the chat. Let me get to that game. The new series and the fact that we only have 2 of us, I'm losing my place, but okay, Here we go. That's right. Spencer Strider, second start back, I believe, off the IL here. And he's up against Zach Gallen, who's been kind of a polarizing topic on this show at times this year. This one's out in Atlanta tonight. Strider, Gallen. I guess the question for you, Tokyo Brandon, and what we need to figure out is what Spencer Strider are we going to see here? Because if we get good Spencer Strider, there should be an edge for the Braves. How are you seeing this one?
So I have these teams, like when I match them up neck to neck, I have them neck and neck. Arizona's hitting a little better, but their bullpen is absolutely atrocious. Atlanta lagging in the hitting department recently. And my numbers do not like Strider from what they've seen so far. But again, this is another situation. I wouldn't call Strider a veteran. What is he? His 3rd year. He's still pretty young. But coming back off an injury, usually the 3rd game back, they start to hit the ground running and come into form. So that's why I expect McCullers to come back. I expect Strider in his 3rd start. Is this his 3rd start back or his 2nd? Either way, he's got a few under his belt. I think he's going to come back to form, but I don't think it's going to be 2024 Strider yet. Or was he injured all year last year? I forgot. He's often injured, so it's hard to pin the guy down. Gallen, I do not like what I've seen from him. He's a crafty veteran, but just something's off. Something's off with him. I don't like what I'm seeing. But Atlanta's not really crushing the ball. So kind of hard to pick a side or a total on this one. Let me take a look at what I got in outs props. Maybe I can give some good information out there. No outs props. Strikeouts. Let's take a look if so I have Strider and Gallen. Where's Gallen? Nope. I got nothing on this. So I'll hand it over to you.
All right. So I think Strider's in his prime. I think it's fair to say he's right in the prime of his career. It's his 5th big league season. I think he's like maybe 27. So like he's right in the sort of pocket of his career where fully healthy. I mean, he should be like ace caliber for this staff. Like if you get Spencer Strider fully healthy, nothing's wrong with him. He's probably the ace of this staff and has, he's got the ability to have wipeout stuff. I think you started to see it come back a little bit last time out against the Phillies. Yeah, Sean says he's 26. That's I was going off the top of my head, and
also someone said it's his 4th start. So
right. So here's what happened.
Yeah.
Well, here's what happened to Strider. He started the year with an injury, started the year on the IL, was down at AAA, was destroying teams in his rehab start. I mean, like, I think he had usually these guys go like not totally full tilt in their rehab at AAA. He had like 13 strikeouts in a 5-inning rehab outing, comes back, gets hurt, different injury, right? So I think he like tweaked a hammy or something like that. His first start off the IL, he never went back to AAA, never did any rehab. So that start against the Nats was him sort of coming in cold, if you will. It was his first real game action since the injury, got knocked around a little bit. I think he just needed to recalibrate. They gave him some extra time in between starts. So if you look at that national start, May 20th. The start against the Phillies was a full week later on the 27th. 4 2/3, gave up 1 hit, 7 strikeouts. Now, he did walk 4 guys. That's a little bit concerning. The 4 walks are definitely concerning, but the swing and miss stuff was definitely back. My gut says Strider is going to continue to sort of ascent back to like what we all expect him to be. And so for that reason, I have no real interest in Gallen. It would have to be Braves or pass for me here. I think you may even get a tiny bit of value on Strider and the Braves because he had that bad start against the Nats when he was working his way back. So Titan CT, I kind of like the Braves here. I don't know if it'll make my card at the current price, but I do kind of like the Braves. All right. Let's hit the chat.
Thanks,
Yeah, Carmine's in the chat. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And then, yeah, please hit that like button.
Quick. Carmine, I've met a lot of the WagerTalk guys. I met you, Adam, a couple times too. Carmine's like the nicest guy I've ever met, man. Dude is just nice.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Has taken me to dinner multiple times when we're in Vegas. He is the man. And nice. They run are they still, this is like a ridiculous question. They're still playing hockey, right? This is like the Stanley Cup. That's how locked in baseball I am. I could care
the final
less.
The final just got decided. So they're going to start the final in a couple days. Yeah.
Check those guys out. Carmine, Andrew, Prez, like they have made a show for hockey that we can only like wish to potentially replicate with this show. Yep. So as long as they're on, tune into that, especially if you're into hockey. That's a must watch. Puck Time. I even have some Puck Time merch. I think I have a Puck Time hockey puck up in my desk drawer somewhere. We got to start making. we need to make cool stuff like merch. That's like I said, we can only wish to get to that level someday. They do a tremendous job. The
problem is, we're always on the brink of getting yanked off the air. So
we have a shorter leash. So we need to like, subscribe, comment, tell WagerTalk how much you like this. Yeah. How much you love this show.
I'm kind of a free, I'm a little bit of a free spirit and I get out of hand sometimes. So they could jerk our show off the air any day. So we're in a precarious situation.
I hear you. I somehow land myself in the doghouse more often than not as well, TV. So I hear you there. Back to the baseball talk. We still have multiple legs to lock into the parlay. I did lock in Nationals plus 1.5, minus 125, first leg of the parlay. We're going to get one from TB. We may even throw one in together to get this to a 3-teamer. But for Andrew Weidler right now, we're going to talk Royals Cardinals. So I guess you would call this the battle for Missouri. Of course, Kansas City is in Missouri, at least where they play baseball, I believe. And then, the other side of the state, we've got the St. Louis Cardinals. So a little bit of a regional rivalry here. Michael Lorenzen, Andre Palante. I got to be honest, TV, I was surprised when I saw this because I personally have sort of sung the praises of Palante, maybe going back to last season where I feel like he's kind of a Swiss Army knife of sorts for the Cardinals. He's done whatever they've asked him to do, go down to AAA, make a start, pitch out of the bullpen. This year, he's been mostly a starter. But my numbers lean toward Lorenzen and the Royals here. So I'm curious to see, how you see this one and if your numbers say the same.
Okay, so I'm going to make this my leg of the parlay. Lorenzen, so we've talked about this in this show even, how the books miss the value one way or another. Now, we've talked about them overvaluing people, but I think they undervalue Lorenzen. Now, I know he's not elite, he's not an ace, anything like that, but he's a grinder, and the books just think he stinks, so they always undervalue Lorenzen. I'm not saying he's a good pitcher. I'm not saying he's great or anything like that, but he gets innings. And he gets decent strikeouts. So I'm looking at his strikeout prop. 3.5, I think, is just too low because he's striking out 7.52 batters per 9. And St. Louis is striking out 8.75 per 9. So if you put that together, he's going 63.9% into his games, which means he's almost getting through the 6th inning in every start, according to that percentage. So, Uh, 7, 8. So let's say let's calculate it at 7.5K per 9. If he goes even sniffs the 6th inning, he should get 5 strikeouts. So I think over 3.5 is a good play, but I don't. Let me see. I'll give you the odds in just 1 second. We don't have our stat guy Brian here. So strikeouts over 3.5 is -122 on Pinnacle. So we can use -125 if you want to be fair, because Pinnacle's usually priced a little better than DraftKings. So I think Lorenzen can get 4 strikeouts in this game. I don't see why not. You're muted, Adam.
Sorry, my dogs are barking. I muted myself. I never mute myself. People probably wish I muted myself more.
I've never told you you're muted before.
Listen, I want to give you credit where credit is due on this show. I don't think you've missed one. I don't want to jinx it, but I guess that's what I'm doing right here. Hopefully not. I don't think you've missed one of these strikeout props that are like, not a top pitcher. You had Freeland last week. Same type of bet, right? Zach Freeland. Well. Yeah. You said this guy's just going to kind of hang around in this game, and he's probably like by attrition and just being in the game long enough is going to get to 4. I kind of feel you there. I see some value on the Royals. I don't know if it's something that I'll play. I'm with you too. I feel like I look at Lorenzen, maybe like the book's doing. I'm kind of like, I for whatever reason, I don't give him enough respect either. But the raw numbers, anytime he's on the mound, my raw data loves the Royals. Every time he pitches, he's an underdog, and then my numbers show value against on the Royals. I typically pass on it, but there is something maybe to be said for that. So I like this move. I think this reminds me of the Freeland play you hit on Friday. 3.5, hangs around in the game, ends up getting to the finish line. So that's Michael Lorenzen.
A relatively unknown pitcher who eats innings and plays on a fairly bad team. I wouldn't say the Royals are a bad team, but a relatively unknown guy that the books discredit a lot. So
it's not that he's unknown. It's not that he's unknown, right, TV? It's just he's been around for a while. He doesn't like jump off the page. Right. He's just kind of just been around for a while, and he goes out, gets his innings in. He just doesn't really move the needle. And so, I think he's more. I think forgotten is probably the better term. He's just been kind of a forgotten guy. Yet he's been in the league for over a decade. He's still productive.
He's a grinder. I mean, he goes out and eats the innings, and he doesn't do it flashy. He'll give up 4 runs sometimes, but he always stays in the game. So guys like that who can stay into the 6th inning, 3.5 is too low for a strikeout prop. If they're striking out more than 6 guys per 9, and he's striking out 7.5. So take it.
I think that's a great call. It just, like I said, it reminds me. It's essentially your exact same handicap from Freeland on Friday,
basically,
who pitched deep into the game. And what did he only had 4 strikeouts, but all you needed was 4. You had 3 and a 5. He got to 4.
Got it.
I think it's a great call. So 2 legs of the parlay locked in. So this is the $1 million question, or probably maybe not $1 million, but maybe like the 6 or 7 to 1 odds question that we have to answer over the next 12 minutes, TV. Do we roll with the 2-teamer? Or do we find something to make it a 3-teamer? And thank you, Mark Hinson. Yes, that is appreciate.
Give Adam
right
some
there.
Props because it's not easy to host,
especially when it's only 2. It's a lot easier when there's 3 because you've got time to like cycle between games. But the thing is, we don't come. Well, like TV, we don't come in with any plan. Like we're just kind of playing off the chat. 15 games, we're bouncing around game to game, so we're kind of doing this on the fly. So appreciate Mark Hinson. He's always tuning in as well. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in every day. The likes, the subscribes. Appreciate. I think
that's why you guys like our show is because we're genuine. We don't come out here and say buy our stuff and blow smoke up your ears because we just talk baseball, and that's all. That's all we want to do is talk baseball. Give you some information. Some of you, I'm sure, are doing your own capping and not just following us. So we give you some information that maybe you didn't catch, and we can, we're all against the books. We're not against each other. So, yeah,
100%.
A win is a win.
There's not enough of that on the gambling Twitter space. Like, I know we're getting off topic here for a minute, but it is what it is. It's our show. Gambling Twitter like 10 years ago, go back like to the people like it was just so much better than it was now. Now everyone's like enemies, which I don't fully understand. It used to be like, hey, like we're all on the same side trying to beat the books. So
the big beef. Well, here's another thing. Nobody in WagerTalk's headquarters likes baseball, so they're probably not watching the show. So we can do what we want. They're all waiting for football and going on vacations. So
yeah, no, we're here all summer grinding it out all summer, trying to find winners. And I truly believe that the winners are there in June and July. At least for me, I've looked back. June has been my month the last couple of years. So Jake says, I'm here for TB. Love you, Adam, but TB is my hero. TB is a lot of people's hero. So I don't take offense to that. I'd like to be told that by a slim Asian woman in leather pants, but I'll take it from Jake instead. We should maybe we can clip that and have John pump that comment out on social medias, because that'll do numbers on the TikTok, I think. Let's get back into let's get back into the baseball. Slick Vic says 11 starts for Cigano. He's allowed home runs in 8 games. I feel like we kind of all felt like at least, and if Brian was here, he'd be all over this. We all kind of felt like this might happen to Cigano and the Orioles at some point, TB, where he kind of came out of the gate and he wasn't striking guys out, but yet he was just getting out after out. And it was almost like, when is the league going to figure this guy out? When is the bubble going to burst for him? And it started to burst a little bit. The Mariners are as good as hitting the ball out of the ballpark as anyone. You talked about Kyle Raleigh. He's off to a historic start to his season. And the Mariners, their offense is predicated on the long ball. So you got the Mariners. They are at home, a little bit harder to hit the ball out of this ballpark, but they're facing Sugano. How are you seeing this one, Mariners Orioles?
So Sugano's obviously Japanese. So I was kind of surprised he went over to the U.S. at this stage in his career, because I know he's not old per se, but man, when he pitched here for the Yomiuri Giants, he was their ace up to about 3 years ago. He was their solid ace. I mean, he was the starting day opener. He was the ace. But they abuse pitchers out here. Like I've talked about this before, but like Matsuzaka Daisuke, when he went over there, man, they were pitching him complete games, 9 games in a row on 5 days. I mean, they abuse pitchers. They should be arrested for abuse. And Sugano's one of those guys who they would leave him in. I mean, you see like a pitch count 105 and they send him back out there to pitch in the 8th inning. It's just unheard of in the US. But so he's gonna get fatigued. And because he's getting up there in age, and he's just the abuse he took in Japan. I mean, he's going to get fatigued. And I think that's what we're seeing now. And also at the beginning of the season, he was pitching well with like a 5K per 9 rate, which is really low. So he wasn't striking people out. He was getting contact. And in my opinion, getting fairly lucky. So I think this is natural that it was going to happen like this. He still doesn't strike guys out. So I think we've seen the best of Sugano this season. I don't think he's going to drop off a cliff, but I think it's going to be like one of those graphs where it just kind of goes like that. I think that's what we're going to see from now on. He's not going to barf, but he's just going to be unspectacular.
Yeah, you know what he reminds me of, Tokyo Brandon? He reminds me of when Hyun-Jong Yang came over to pitch for the Rangers, and it was like, so Yang is still going in Korea, but the point I'm trying
to pitch today, I think. Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make here is he came over to the MLB after his best. Like, he wasn't necessarily in his prime when he came over to MLB, but it's like, I do think these guys, it's like, you do so much in your home country, and it's like, what's the next level, right? I think for Yang, and it was always a dream of him to at least give it a shot in MLB. Yeah. So he was up in his 30s. He was probably like 33, 30, however it was, he was past like his best days, like Sugano. came over. But I guess the reason I bring this up is Yang had a pretty good first month, and then he got absolutely torched in the big leagues. He was only here for a season back in Korea. I'm with you. I feel like Sugano is as the innings start to pile up, I feel like you're looking at his numbers right now, Tokyo Brandon. They're very solid. 3.23 ERA, 1.06 whip. He's gotten away with it. He has not, aside from the Yankees game, which somehow he struck out 8 guys. That is an absolute mystery. He's not getting swing and miss. He hasn't walked people. He's just been very fortunate that these balls are getting hit at his fielders.
Like I said,
don't know how long that
giving
can
contact and he's getting lucky. Yeah.
I look at
Here's
this one
more
say,
thing to add, not to sorry to cut you off, but another thing is these guys are human beings. The scouts, I was a former scout, they're human as well. And they compile a scouting report. It's just like our capping. Our capping starts to take, I'm on a 19-2 run now. It's not because it's because the numbers are starting to solidify and we're getting a grip on what we're actually seeing. So the scouting reports, they're making a book on these guys, and now they got the book on him.
So I want to throw this over to you. See if you agree here. I think there's value to the over in this game. You have Sugano who looks very home run prone against a Mariners offense that is predicated on hitting the home run. That is how the Mariners score their runs. They're not scoring runs, like they're not just racking up timely hits. It's very much like just wait for the big fly with this Mariners offense.
I think sorry.
Well, George Kirby has really been going through it. So go back to his AAA rehab. He's just, everything is right in the middle of the plate. I don't think he's fully kind of got his command back yet. So everything's over the plate. And in 2 starts since he's come back, he only lasted 3 2/3 against the Astros, 5 runs on 6 hits. Against the Nationals, 6 runs on 7 hits, but everything is over the middle of the plate. And the Orioles hit right-handed pitching. They've actually done okay knocking around right-handed pitching. So you have to think 7.5. That's like the type of total that you typically get with 2 very strong pitchers. I don't know that we have that here. So I kind of lean toward the over.
Okay. I would agree with that. Actually, I didn't notice that in my original going over the numbers, but now that you mention it, we got 2 bullpens that are underperforming. I got them both ranked 23 or worse. We got Sugano, who I have ranked 19 on a curve of 30. Don't know really what to expect from Kirby. He's kind of the X factor here, but we got 2 lineups that are at least mediocre. So, I wouldn't argue against an over in this game if it's 7.5. This is Major League Baseball. 7.5 should be like Wheeler versus Skeens. It should be 7.5, not Kirby versus Sugano.
Yeah, and to just make one more point on the bullpens, Seattle has a fantastic bullpen, but they've been this is what I keep going back to with some of these good teams. They've been winning a lot of close games. What did they play? 3 straight extra inning games last week. They won 2-1 on Sunday. I know they had the off day yesterday, but they have been piling up the high leverage innings. And this is what happens. Even the best bullpens, and sometimes 2 of the best bullpens, when you just win close game after close game, extra innings, 2-1, 5-4, there's going to be a crack at some point because the leverage guys are out there every night. And then the Orioles bullpen outside of like Batista Cano is not a good bullpen. So my question to you, Tokyo Brandon, is this the third leg of our parlay? Are we throwing the over in Orioles Mariners?
I think we should. I do. I think that's good. And I'm going to throw up a comment here. I'm going to hijack the comment and I'm going to talk on this just for 1 second. But guys, don't bet home run props. Okay. And I'll give you a quick math lesson here in 20 seconds. Ohtani is probably the best home run hitter in Major League Baseball. Some could argue Judge. Either way, Ohtani hits 1 home run in about 1 every 17 at bats. If you do just quick math, he's going to hit a home run about once every 4 games. Once every 4 games, you should get plus 400. Ohtani home run props, you're only going to get plus 180, plus 190. It's a ripoff. You're getting ripped off like $3 full of the proper price. So an elite player should be plus 300 to 400. And a sub elite player like Bryce Harper, I'm not saying no slight to Bryce Harper, he's a great player, but a player of Bryce Harper's caliber should get plus 600, and you're never going to get that. Don't bet home run props. You will lose your money. You might have one night where you win the bet, but over the long run, that's why professional cappers don't bet that garbage. We don't bet the nerfy crap either. So just my rant. Sorry.
Very well said, Tokyo Brandon. And you know what? They'll tell you not to bet parlays either, but the show parlay, even though we didn't hit one last week, the show parlay still up, I think 11 units or something like that since we started. I'll find out exactly. I'll figure out exactly what it is. But, since we started the total basis show parlay, I believe it's like 11.2 units, 10 or 11 units. Yeah. And we are very much due because we had two ripped from our grasp last week, Tokyo Brandon. I'm still sick over the Marlins ruining the parlay last Tuesday with a 6-0 lead, and they couldn't cover the plus 1.5. Well,
here's the thing. We're doing the parlay for fun. Okay. Yep. We're not putting these out as like 2%, 3% plays to our clients. We're doing this for fun, for fun. Okay. So, and that's what parlays and home run props should be. They should be like a $10 beer money. Let's go have beers with my friends at the bar and see if Bryce Harper can hit a home run. That's what it should be. It's not professional capping to make money over the long term, which is what we're in the business of doing.
Johnny makes a good point. Listen, I agree with
He's in the chat. I just said nobody likes
parlays. The no parlays thing, that's too big of a blanket term. I think it's like, we should revise that to say, these like the lotto ticket type parlays are like, those are a little bit more difficult where you can't really be relying to hit like the 11 teamer. There is many situations where parlays do make sense. And actually, we'll have to ask Gianni about this because Johnny Corrales is like the best probably person to ask with like numbers and what point it makes sense. I think 3-teamers is the sweet spot for like return, like getting the correct return. So I think if you are going to bet parlays, I do think like the 3-team parlay tends to be like the closest to real return. That's a question for Gianni. Maybe he can answer that in one of his lives or something. I'm sure he has. But anyway, so that's what we're sticking to here is the 3-teamers. We've got a 3-teamer for today. And I think this is one that's going to hit TB. I don't know. I'm just feeling it today. We had yesterday off. Chance to regroup. We're going to get it back going today. We have Nationals plus 1.5. We have Michael Lorenzen over 3.5 strikeouts. And then you and I very rarely agree, but we agree on this one. The Orioles Mariners over 7.5 minus 120.
I wouldn't say we rarely agree, Adam. We
that's
agree
true.
I just said nobody in headquarters is watching the show, and then Johnny shows up in the chat. So. Great.
He's probably here to see if it went off the rails yet with just the two of us. He's probably like, exactly. Brian usually keeps them in line.
See if we should get fired or not.
Brian usually keeps them in line. You got to see how this is going with these two on the show. But I think we did all right. I think we did okay.
We did good. It's nice to be able to talk a little longer without taking up someone else's time. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
We hope we appreciate the likes. We appreciate the subscribes. We try not to sell too much on the show. It is $5 Tuesday. If you want the picks, you know where to get them. Hopefully we've provided enough good analysis and advice on this show to get you out of here with something. And at least you've got the parlay, right? So we've got Nationals plus 1.5, Lorenzen over 3.5 strikeouts, Orioles Mariners over 7.5. That comes out right around 5-1. I'll put up a ticket and we'll have an exact price on that. Obviously, shop around, but should be in the 5-1 odds, and that's pretty good for that 3-teamer right there. All right, do you have any closing thoughts here, TB?
19-2 run right now, and I do have a $5 play out, so that's my shill for the show. But yeah, there's not a lot that I would bet big on today. So be careful, guys. But yeah, bankroll management. Take it easy and let's make some cash today.
Couldn't have said it better myself. $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk. Everyone's got $5 plays our guys in the chat, McKinnis, Carmine, myself, Tokyo Brandon. It's a great day to just try out the site because the plays are much cheaper than they are any other day. But at any rate, we appreciate you tuning in. And Tokyo Brandon and I will be back here tomorrow to try to do it again. So we'll see you guys in the morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, and I'll post the parlay on Twitter. See you guys tomorrow.
Take it easy.